What's going on, everybody? We are talking about the newest Wayfinder lore, going over her abilities and things of that nature. Let's go ahead and jump into it without further ado. Laura. So her character passive is that Laura can channel the power of her avatar by hitting enemies with attacks or abilities. Once her power has fully charged, she enters the channeling state, further empowering her abilities. She's in the Arcanist spec or class of Wayfinders. And if we look at some of her archetype mechanics, she has the innervation orbs, as Arcanist does. And then she also has a blink dodge, which allows her to dodge a little bit further than other people. Her first ability is going to be called Clobber, which launches a spirit fist forward, smashing through enemies in its path. While channeling, it causes additional break damage and knocks enemies back. Clobber's cooldown is reset whenever Laura enters her channeling state. And you see first is like a little Hadoken type size, and then if you look in the little video in the upper right corner, you can see this pretty big. So you can see the two different sizes there when one is channeled and one is huge. The next we're going to do is Possession, which allows the avatar to exert its presence, granting Laura a damage shield that reflects damage to attackers for a short duration. Also, Laura and nearby allies gain a protective aura that reduces incoming damage. While channeling, the avatar manifests to pull in and smash nearby enemies, and all party members will gain the reflective shield in addition to the damage reduction aura. This is probably one of my favorite abilities here because you can have a bunch of enemies around you, you pull them all in, and then you drop that giant fist on them, or do the pummel attack, or her other attack, which is the seismic launch. So what this is like a quick dash forward, damaging any enemies in front of you. While channeling, the dash can be charged for increased distance and knocks back enemies while reducing incoming damage to Laura. This is also a really fun ability to play with because you can see all the enemies flying after getting knocked back. It's pretty hilarious, and it is a good way to do a lot of damage to a lot of enemies that are close by. So you do that with the seismic, with the Possession, and you mix it with the seismic launch, you're actually getting some really good stuff going on. Or if you mix it with the Clobber, very good abilities to combo all into. Her ultimate ability is going to be called Unleash, where it's like unleash your spirit, transforming Laura into the avatar for a short time. The avatar regenerates health, is greatly resistant to all damage, and can pummel enemies with its fist. And it kind of reminds me a lot of transforming into the Incredible Hulk, pretty much. So you just kind of run around, Hulk smashing everything. Now, there are some issues with this from what I saw on the Discord. People have not been able to res their teammates while in this state. So, or you can't use like pots or potions, but she does regenerate health over time as she's doing it. So it's not really a good move to do if you're playing with teammates who might need to be revived soon or are having some issues because you can't interact with anything. You can only just smash. Now, if you want to see her channel bar, is actually down at the bottom of the screen. So you can see at the bottom of the screen here, her meter powering up. Ready to get my butt kicked here. So Laura's signature weapon that she starts with is called Unity. It's a sword and shield. It has the weapon ability Spirit Slam, slams the shield into the ground, causing heavy break damage to all nearby enemies. Also empowers heavy attacks to cause bonus magic damage, 2 hits per pip spent. Imprisoned for an age, the spirit shaped its will into a weapon to defend its newly found vessel. So you have max health, weapon power, physical defense, magic defense, and break power are going to be the shield's highest abilities, with ability power being part of its lowest. I personally prefer daggers in the game in general, and I think Laura works really well with daggers. I'm using the Harvest Moon, but you use whatever weapon that you like and enjoy. That's one of the benefits and beauties of Wayfinder, allowing you to use any weapon. So if you want to use a gun instead. If we look into her affinity perks, she has Instinct, Discipline, and Focus. For her Instinct perks, her 5 point is going to be Innervating Orb effect. Also reduces damage taken by 4%. Avatar Ward is while in channeling state, take 10% reduced damage, and then 15% chance to debuff enemies hitting you by 5%, outgoing damage up to 5 stacks for 6 seconds at 25. For Discipline, it's when you are not channeling, gain 10% weapon and ability power. Getting hit has a 10% chance to use possession counter even if not in possession, and using an ability grants spiritual power, increasing outgoing damage by 5% and stacking up to 5 times, lasts 15 seconds. And then for Focus, we have basic weapon hit gives 50% more channel meter when you are in channeling state, gain 20% ability power, and channeled abilities cost 25% less channel meter. Now personally, I think Instinct and Discipline, at least those first 2 levels, are going to be the best. I have not gotten to Affliction Ward and Spiritual Resonance yet, but I think for how I play, that these two first rows are going to be the ones I'm looking at, Instinct and Discipline. And I'm kind of building around there. I'm also focusing on ability power, weapon power, and break power. I'm trying to get those up some because I'm doing quite a bit of damage that way. So looking at her talents, you can see the talent tree is fairly large. She has a couple of different sections here: Kinesis, Havoc, and Quantum. These talent trees, how it works in the game is as you level up your Wayfinder, you'll get Wayfinder ranks. The Wayfinder ranks is for all your Wayfinders that you have unlocked. So right now I'm at Wayfinder rank 21. If I go to a character that I haven't played as yet, I'll have a bunch of points to spend here in talent. I spent points already, so you don't have to like level up the Wayfinder to get to this point to have to spend all these points. You just have to keep leveling up Wayfinders, and eventually you'll be able to fill out this tree for all of your Wayfinders. But her big points here on the side are going to be like Bountiful Intervention. Each time a Wayfinder ability is used, you have a 50% chance to create an Innervation Orb. Repulsion, each time you pick up an Innervation Orb, gain a damage shield equal to 10% of magic defense. Reactivity, gain a damage shield equal to 30% of magic defense. After using your ultimate, if you are hit while you have a damage shield active, deal damage equal to 25% of your magic defense back to your attacker. And only one prime node can be attacked at a time. This is what you consider a prime node. It's one of the larger orange nodes. Then we have Feedback. Each time a Wayfinder ability is used, gain a damage shield equal to 7%. Temporal Coherence. Each time you critically hit, gain a moderate amount of ultimate meter charge. This effect has an internal cooldown of 1 second. This prime node here is called Wave Function Collapse. Gain stacks of observation when using your ultimate or dealing critical hits. When stacks reach 100, a waveform collapse is triggered, granting a random buff to you and nearby allies, increasing damage, refreshing cooldowns, or increasing speed and stamina. The other prime node is going to be Overwhelming Arcana. Each time a Wayfinder ability is used, you gain a stack of Overwhelming Arcana. Overwhelming Arcana increases ability power by 5% per stack. Overwhelming Arcana can stack up to 5 times. And then we have a Quickening Innervation, where each time you pick up an Innervation Orb, you lower your Wayfinder ability cooldown by 20%. And each time you pick up an Innervation Orb, you gain 10% increased crit rating, stacking up to 3 times. And so those are all of her main perks that you can unlock on this huge skill tree here on the screen. And that's, of course, after you level up all of your Wayfinder. That's pretty much all of the information about Laura. I think she's a pretty cool Wayfinder. She's pretty fun to play as. She is smaller than everybody. I think she's kind of speedy as well. And a lot of her moves are just cool and fun to do. So let me know what you think, if you have been playing Laura or if it's a character that you want to play, in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.